Kylie, hi, Jim Delapine here. I want to give you some feedback here. So I see that you did save and rename a channel, a selection as a channel, and you also do have adjustment layers that are clipping masks, but you're really using them for the wrong reason. All right, well, the wrong purpose. It's not really helping this. So I want to show you a better use of this. So, for example, let's go to the eggs. All right, so if I have auto select checked and I'm in the move tool and select the eggs, it'll go right to that layer. Now what I'll do is create an adjustment layer for levels. All right, and I'll immediately make that a clipping mask by Alt or Option clicking here. Now, now what I'll do is, if you look at this, this is a histogram, so this is going to bring in the highlights. So notice how, it brings in the highlights. You don't want to go too bright because you have an underwater kind of thing going on here. So, um, but I'll lighten it a little bit, okay? And then you may want to do the same thing for these bacon arms. All right, so I'll create a levels adjustment layer for that, and Alt click, and then maybe lighten that up a little bit. Okay, bring this over, and then for this one also the same kind of thing. Now here's a little tip here. You can also Alt or Option click on the levels adjustment layer and drag it up to this other bacon arm, and then make that a clipping mask. So you have the same adjustment layer applied to both, which means you can also go in there, double click, and make a separate setting. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, now you want Fred to look like he's at least swimming since he's underwater. So I'm going to suggest that you select the shadow body, scroll up to the very top, and shift click to select all of these layers, and then hit Control T, and then rotate it. All right, and then at least have him like kind of at an angle. All right, and then I'll hit Enter. Now the shadow, I don't really like how the angle is not right, so I'm gonna Control T and rotate that and put that in position, and I don't know, somewhere down here, I guess, to keep them off the surface of the ocean floor. And then make sure you put that into multiply mode. All right, that's a true shadow. Now, what you want to do is also create shadows that hit these cheese strings here from the bread. All right, so this is sticking into the thickness of the bread. So what you're going to do is Control or Command click on the layer mask for the cheese tentacles. All right, and then immediately create a new layer above that. So you've got a new layer. All right, you're going to make gray your foreground color. All right, a dark gray. You're going to go to your paintbrush tool, and I'm going to select maybe a 40% hardness brush approximately, with a brush size that is about something like this. I have a 70 pixel brush. All right. Now, if I hit Control H, it will hide the selection, but the selection's still active. All right, it's still an active selection. You just can't see it. So now what I'm going to do is click and paint here. All right. And then I'm going to put that into multiply mode. That new layer is going to be put into multiply mode. All right, and you may want to actually make this 0% hardness. It's actually, you know what? I'm going to select. I'm going to delete these. Yeah, select all. Let me start over with this. Okay, so I have my selection here. Control H, and then 0% hardness and a reasonably large brush. All right, and then if I just click in here, all right, I'm in multiply mode. I'm just clicking here. You want random shadows because they're at different locations. All right, and now you have control over that because now if I select a larger brush, I'll get more of a gradation coming down also. All right, so it makes it dissipate a little bit more. All right, so something like that. See how that's working? So now you also have a control because you can lessen the opacity if you'd like, but I think it looks all right like that. You want something dramatic here. All right, the same thing is going to be used for these bacon pieces here. All right, so you're going to Control click on the bacon arm layer mask. Alright, then you got to select that levels adjustment layer above it and create a new layer above that. And then go in here and paint on that new layer. And then put that into multiply mode. You can do multiply first if you want. Alright, so this way it pops out a little bit. And you have that. Alright, so also you need to go in there and do the same thing for the ketchup. The ketchup is just too dark. Alright, so you need to go in there and adjust accordingly. Alright, so levels here, and then maybe lighten it a little bit. Alright, now you also, for these, you want to create shadows for these. So this would work with a layer style. Okay, so to create, you want to create a layer style for the ketchup smile. So double click on that and do drop shadow. Alright, mine's coming up as red, I don't know why, but if it's coming up as a color, just click here and select black, hit OK, and now that's creating a shadow underneath. Okay, whoops, under here. So you have control over that. So go into the drop shadow, select the name, and notice that you can designate the direction of the shadow. So obviously the light source is coming from above, so you want the shadow underneath. You can adjust the distance, you can adjust the size, the spread, and so on. Okay, you can also adjust the opacity. All right, so you don't want this too dark. All right, so because the value of that red ketchup is dark, so I would do that, and then do the same thing for these ketchup eyes. I see these are both on the same layer here, and one is lighter than the other. So that's what you could do there is this. You can lighten these individually by putting a selection around this eye, and then creating an adjustment layer for that, for levels. All right, and then you can lower the. See what's happening here now. So that means. Okay, this is going to be a little tricky, so listen carefully. Here's what you're going to do. Control click on this ketchup eyes layer mask. That puts a selection around it. Now what you're going to do is go to your lasso tool, hold down the Alt or Option key, and subtract this selection by surrounding it. Alright, and then letting go. So my Alt key was held down, so now I have only this selection. Then you're going to create a levels adjustment layer. And then immediately Alt click to make that a clipping mask, and then you can lighten that individually. See that? Okay, I would do that for both. All right, and then you can create that drop shadow for that one too. All right, so I hope that helped. All right, oh, one more thing, the text here, you may want to move this down, all right, and scale it up. All right, scale it up. You want this wide. I would even stretch it out. All right, scale it up so that it's behind Fred. It'll give it some dimension there. Okay. All right. Hope that helped. Bye.